I'm a cardiac care patient. Recently, I had a cardiac event, is what they call it now, instead of a heart attack. But I had a heart attack on March 12th of this year. In fact, I was in this studio when it happened. I was rushed to the hospital. They were able to save my life, but I am much, much more concerned about blood pressure today than ever before. According to the American Heart Association, nearly half of all Americans have high blood pressure. The problem is, it's not something that you know unless you have it measured. That's why heart disease is called the silent killer. Well, this machine is not silent. Most of them are. If you are someone who has difficulty with sight, or you're someone whose eyesight is gone, how do you read your blood pressure? Well, I'll tell you how. This unit is remarkably accurate. The batteries come with it. You're ready to go at $28.93. And it goes on your wrist. I remember my father taking his blood pressure every night at the kitchen table with a stopwatch and a stethoscope. Those days are gone. Denise, who you just met in our last presentation, is back once again. I am so impressed that this technology has gotten better and better and better, and yet the prices have come down. The original blood pressure monitor that I bought for myself, and this was only 6 years ago, was $100 and didn't do what this unit can do.
Yeah, it's so, so critical to know your blood pressure. But what I love about this is you don't have to know your numbers. You don't have to interpret your numbers because this is a backlit unit. First of all, it's speaking. So it will speak to you, but you have the option to have it on silent. I have this one on silent, and it holds 90 memories. Now, it'll give you the day, the time, the stamp of your measurement.
Yep.
It will give you your systolic, your diastolic, and your pulse rate. So all the critical information you need. And you see the backlit. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's yellow. So when it's green, you're in that really good range. When it starts to get closer to yellow and red, that could be hypertension, pre-hypertension, and that might tell you that critical information because we can't see what high blood pressure looks like. So you need to know these numbers, and this will interpret it for you. Now, Dan, this goes, you have it on backwards. This goes on the underside of your wrist.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah. Unlike a
know
wristwatch. I'm glad you did that.
okay.
Because you know what? That's a common,
That was happening. Now,
thing that happens.
I'm doing it on my right wrist, and I'm telling people right now, it's probably going to give a false reading because I've been talking, I've been standing up.
You just
so
yeah.
again, it is backwards of a regular monitor. Normally, what you view is on top. So I'm going to hit the buttons, but you'll hear it talking. I've got to bring it closer to my microphone.
Stay still and do not talk until the measurement is complete.
You can talk,
Now,
Denise.
technically, Dan,
You told me not to talk.
Yes, I'm going to talk because you're supposed to, you follow the same protocol as we do in a doctor's office. You're supposed to be seated, no legs crossed, very still, very quiet. It takes about 40 seconds to give you that reading. And we do have video footage of our model getting that reading too. But you wear it unlike a wristwatch. So not on the top of the wrist. You want to wear it on the underneath side of the wrist, just about where the crease of the wrist and the forearm meet.
Yep.
And you should be able to just fit a little bit of a pinky under there. So not too tight, not too loose. And then that's going to give you that reading. It will give you, there's our model, Jody. So what we need to know, you already said, the American Heart Association recommends that you take your blood pressure regularly, especially if you're known to have high blood pressure. But as we age, our blood vessels lose some of their elasticity, and that can add to an increase in high blood pressure. And when you're until age 64, men are actually more likely to have high blood pressure, but at 65, women become more likely. The risk factors can be anything from diet, exercise, smoking, obesity, your age, your family history. So you have to consider all of those things. It's not something you can see. And so many of us are on meds for high blood pressure. It's critical to have those numbers in the proper range. And again, this will record it for you. You don't have to interpret it. You don't have to know if it's good or bad. Just if it's red or amber, That's in your high range. Jody there, our beautiful model, got a lovely
Perfect
green
number.
backlit, big display, perfect number for her. So you see, there's your colors. You don't have to know. You could bring this to the doctor's office. It comes with a case. Because even when you're at the doctor's office, there's something called white coat syndrome that we get so stressed out and anxious to go to the doctor that you might blow a pre-hypertension or hypertension number, but that's not really the true accurate number of your blood pressure. So you take this with you, that you've got a record of your last 90 readings, and your doctor can see, well, if that's high, well, what were you doing that day? Or what was going on in your life at that period? Or did you just have coffee? Or were you running a marathon? Whatever it
Yep.
is, this knows it. This is smart. It can speak or not speak. And by the way, it can speak Spanish as well. But it has those memories that you could scroll through. And it's just so easy to use with the big display. And it's so critically and vitally important, as you know, to know what your blood pressure is. We can't see it by looking at someone, but boy, it's a danger zone for something that's going on in your body that we may not be aware.
After you have a heart event, it is normal, very much by nature, to become very paranoid about your heart health. So having a really good blood pressure monitor has actually eased a lot of my own anxiety. I take my blood pressure every day, and I don't take it at the same time because my schedule is different according to which shift I'm working here at QVC. But I take my blood pressure about 10 minutes after I've awoken, and before I get that first cup of coffee, or before I've done any of the farm chores, or before I start getting really busy. And I keep a running log of my blood pressure. And it's all about averages. But I'll tell you what, when the blood pressure comes up and it's in the green and my numbers are good, it changes my entire attitude for the entire day. It sets the groundwork for a day that I know is going to be positive and productive, and a day with less fear. Our automobiles give more diagnostics with a dashboard than what the human body ever gives its owner, and that's us. So think of this as kind of the dashboard for us, the vehicle that is our body. But this does it differently. I also like that it does have a flashing warning if you have an arrhythmia, if you have an irregular heartbeat.
Yes.
Not all
Irregular
blood
heartbeat,
pressure monitors have that, but that's information your doctor, whether it be your primary physician or your cardiologist, wants to know. This is one of the first pieces of equipment under 30 bucks that does everything it does. So really good piece. Denise, we got
this
more
is a way to
talk
be
about.
Proactive about your health. Yes, sir, we do.
You sit tight. I promise I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. All right?
Okie doke. See you soon.
Thank you. From Advocate, this is the speaking wrist blood pressure. Now, this is a really interesting item.